livelihood there because it's a mixture of salt and fresh water on this sand spit. So it's very, very hard for them. However, I mean, the people who've come out and are in these camps in Vuvunia, although like any IDP situation, it's hard. There's a lot of people in small spaces. They don't know their future. I mean, when I was there, I mean, the main question we got from kids were, when can I go back to school? When can I start? My exams are interrupted. I'm in the middle of doing my A-levels. I want to prepare my O-levels. And I went into one place, which actually was a hostel for one of the, I think one of the universities up there. Mm. And it was now filled with these displaced people from all over the north, some from Manar, some from Kilinochchi, some from Mulativu. Mm. And amongst all these people in fairly difficult situations, there was a guy with a desk, and they were taking university applications. And there were all this lineup of people filling out for university. So the point I'm trying to make is, although the situation is very, very hard now for those people who are trapped there, who the LTT is not allowing to leave, and it's hard to get supplies to, there has been investment, by the government, by the people themselves over the years. The education system still functioned in those districts. The health system still functioned. Kilinochchi actually is one of the nicest hospitals in Sri Lanka that was built during the period of the ceasefire. So I think there is the human capital to be built on, provided people can return, provided that they have some chance to have the sense of personal security, sense of life without fear, and the basic government support that's needed.
Yeah. Now, all these people who are in this land strip between, the bay and the sea. Now, obviously, those people were not there. I mean, originally they were from somewhere else.
No, they're almost all displaced. There's a very small population there. It might have been 10, 20,000 at most. Yeah.
Right. So what happened to, all the people who were in Kilinochchi? I mean, is the population in Kilinochchi? Let's just take one example. From the numbers that we've been told at point in time before it was liberated, so many X thousand people. Are those people still there, or have those people disappeared to some other place?
No, as the fighting moved, basically since March of 2008, people moved back into the areas the LTT controlled. They weren't able to cross lines. And essentially, everybody has been moved into this small strip. So the whole population of northern Manar, Kilinochchi, Mulativu, and Vuvunia districts that was there from March of 2008 onwards, essentially is in this strip or in these camps in Vuvunia.
So John Holmes was here recently. I think he's Undersecretary General, and issued a statement. Look, both the government and the LTT must ensure that civilians are spared in this conflict. And the whole issue about how many civilians are there. Is it a small number of 50,000-60,000? Are we talking of hundreds of thousands of civilians? I don't know if you can answer this question. But let me ask you anyway.
I don't think anyone really knows, to be honest. We had been, with the government agreement, providing food on the assumption of 230,000 IDPs at one point. Government has said they felt there was some double counting in that, but that's what we had been providing with these convoys, 11 convoys that we sent in from October until about the 16th of January. I think if you use the official census statistics, it's even higher. Government says that they've actually tried to count with, I guess, from aerial photography, the number of shelters, and they've come up with 70,000. I mean, we feel that it's probably a bit more. We hope that it's just 70,000 people, because that means a fewer number of people are going through this very, very difficult, almost hellish circumstance at the moment. And then there's fewer people to come out, it'll be easier to deal with them. But in some sense, it doesn't matter if it's 70 or 150,000. The moral point, the need to help these people so that they can return to be normal citizens and help rebuild the country and contribute to it is just as important.
Yeah, I mean, to develop the North and do all these investments and, build schools, what have you, first you got to be able to survive. You got to be able to live, right? And life and death for these people, whether it is 70 or 150,000, is uncertain, right? And days are going by, food convoys are being restricted. The LTT just the other day shot at the food that was being brought in by ship and so on. Obviously, there is a huge humanitarian issue in this area, and what is the UN doing right now, or what can it do in the coming days to try and ensure that most of these people who are stuck come out alive post-conflict?
I think we're really trying to do as much as we can within the framework in which we can work. So, I mean, we've tried all sorts of channels to try to convince the LTTE over many, many months that people should have the choice. They should be allowed to leave if they can. And even our own staff have not really been allowed to leave those areas. So that's one thing. Two is we have tried during this whole period to get basic supplies in. We've had agreement to bring food in. We've had agreement to bring simple health materials in, water filtration equipment, not so much to the pocket. We've been advocating for more and more to be brought in. We've been advocating for medical supplies. Some things have happened. And we've been drawing attention to the suffering of the civilians. The Secretary General just made a statement on Friday, about 5 days ago, really expressing very serious concern for the welfare of them. But at the same time, we can't wave a magic wand. Ultimately, the responsibility for these people within a sovereign nation, it's not an inter-country thing, it's an internal issue. That responsibility is with the government of Sri Lanka and the people of Sri Lanka. And we can just help the government and help the people of Sri Lanka to meet this responsibility. And if we have concerns, draw it to their attention so that they deal with it.
Yeah, so I guess, in a sense, we're running out of time, but in a sense, what we are seeing is, okay, many people are trying to get the East back on track. UN is helping out, private investors are there, the government is trying its best. There is a political, democratic system in place, all of that is good, but it is still a serious challenge. And given the global economic conditions, the challenge has even gotten greater. But the North is going to be even a harder challenge. And perhaps there needs to be a rethink, maybe, on how to move forward. Perhaps, political discussions with all parties might be helpful in bringing a rapid, a faster end to the conflict, so that these people are.
Well, I think the Secretary General has said, and the government has also said, that it's important that there be a political settlement which deals with some of the underlying grievances over the last 25 years. Deal with the military side on one side, but that's only one part of the solution. The solution has to be a political one. If you're going to create the conditions that give all Sri Lankans the choices they're supposed to have, choices for education, choices for health, choice for a decent income, choice to live in a safe, democratic society.
A democracy in the North.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Neil. Thanks for your time.